At this time of filming, my husband and I will be celebrating our 7th year wedding anniversary. In today's episode, I'll be sharing a testimony of how I was being single to the time that I got married. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. Hello people in the world, I'm Hannah of Hope and Future Bible Devotions, and I created this channel to give you Bible encouragement and godly wisdom to help you in your everyday life. So if you're new here, then welcome. If you've been watching my videos in the past, I might have mentioned there that I'm a pastor's kid. So my dad was actually a pretty hands-on father. We had family Bible studies, and these Christian values really penetrated on me. My parents had the means to help us get into Christian schools. My mom taught us the practical things, while my dad taught us the spiritual things. I grew up reading a lot of Christian books on romantic relationships, and they actually gave me a good grasp as to how I should be viewing my own romantic relationship in the future. Then at church, I also grew up seeing and being a witness among a lot of Christian couples. Even if my own parents were not exactly the best models when it came to a Christian couple, I had mentors. I had couples that I could look up to at church. I had a very good Christian community back when I was still in the Philippines. I had good senior pastors who knew me by name. I had a good youth pastor. I also had 2 disciplers who really mentored me through the years. And because of all of that guidance that I got from the people around me, I had really high expectations about the relationship that I would have in the future. Now, that doesn't mean that I was perfect in everything when it came to real situations that I encountered with regard to love life. There were guys that wanted to pursue me, but as I look back at that, I saw how the Lord was just putting hindrances. There was a time when my dad was the one who cut it. There was another time when I was in high school, and what stopped him was his own shyness. Then when I was in college, someone also wanted to pursue me, but the only means of communication that we had during that time was my phone, and I lost my phone. Every time that I kind of had someone in my life, there was always a hindrance, and I'm thankful for those times. Another thing that I learned through the years when I was young and with the literature that I was reading was that the male should be the first one to make the move. I never made the initiative to make myself felt by anyone. I did make sure to at least be hygienic and all of that, but my main focus when I was young was my studies, because I was in a scholarship and I had to maintain my grades. I was also focused on my youth ministry, and I was just enjoying being part of the ministry, studies and ministry. Those were the things that I really enjoyed as I was growing up. I was never thinking that I would actually meet someone romantically at church, because I grew up there since I was 12 years old. But God can surprise you sometimes. One day, while I was still with the youth ministry, I attended a worship training. First, there would be that big group where everyone comes together, but later, during the training, there would be a part where we would separate into different groups. Singers, keyboardists, bassists, and etc. So I was part of the keyboard workshop, and most of the people that were with me were youngsters. So they were 15 and below, and then we had a teacher who was my friend. Then there was another person who came, and that was Kuya Brian. So he was sitting in, he was already part of the MAG team, the magnification team in the adult service, and he wanted to sit in so that he can observe how to teach keyboards. I was there to learn. And because everyone else was young, we were kind of the closest in age, so we were the ones talking to each other more. In my case, well, I'm generally a friendly person, so I just enjoy talking to people. For him, during that time, I didn't know, but he was actually very shy and quiet when it comes to talking to girls. That time that we were together, we clicked. I would say that we had a pretty good conversation. That's where it started off. In my mind, we were just bonding, we were just friends, he was my kuya. But for him, he was like, maybe this is possible. In my case, I just continued to be friends with him, and he was already planning what he'll do, how he could develop a relationship with me, like as friends first, or how he could bring the news to me that he wanted to date me. One day, we planned to go out. We planned to hang out at a mall, and again, we just kept on bonding, and there was nothing that I felt that time. And then he asked me, is there anyone pursuing you right now? And for me, I shared a lot of stories and all of that, but short story, I said no. And then that's when he asked me, well, can I pursue you? And I was shocked. I was shocked during that time because I always looked at him as kuya. At that point, I said, I'll pray about it. So that was it for that time. And then a few days later, I remember telling him, no, I don't want it, because I looked at him as my bigger brother. But then during that same call, he said, you know what? Why don't we try this? Why don't you just drop kuya and call me just Brian? And so we tried that. And then I rushed to my discipler. Ate, someone's asking to pursue me. And she said, oh, who is it? And I told her that it's Brian, or Kuya Brian, during that time. And she said, oh, I like him. And in my case, I was thinking, did she actually say yes? I was expecting her to say, no, that's not supposed to be. That can't happen. Well, she said she likes him for me. In the past, they were already acquainted, so she already knew that he was pretty nice. He was a nice guy. So that's why my discipler that time said, he's okay. I think that was a major thing for me. When my discipler said he's okay, then okay, let's give it a try. Even when I talked to a common friend of ours, he also said, why not give it a try? I gave him a chance. Well, if in the past there were a lot of hindrances to other guys, this time there were no hindrances. And in fact, people from my church were encouraging me. It was the Lord that let things happen during that time. As months passed, we continued to build a friendship, a good relationship. We continued calls and spending time with each other. Sometimes just the two of us, but mostly with friends. And I came to like him. And I never thought that I would. But anyway, so it worked out. I was pretty straightforward with Brian, actually. I remember saying, okay, you have to talk to my youth pastor, you have to talk to my dad, and all of those things. And he actually did that. He really wanted to pursue me, and he wanted to follow my demands. Right from there, I actually saw God's favor in the relationship that we were developing. And then after a year of courtship, finally, when he asked if we could be boyfriend and girlfriend, yes, he did ask my dad again, and we became official. If you ask me, when I said yes to being his girlfriend, it's as if I said yes to a marriage proposal. As I was maturing and as the years were going by, we continued to develop our relationship with each other. After 4 years of being boyfriend and girlfriend, he finally proposed to me. We went out for lunch at a Japanese restaurant, and he showed me this card that said, 5 reasons why I love you. And I read it. He knew that I was a sentimental person, so he gave me a card that he made, and I told him, thank you so much, babe. So I was about to put it away, but he said, wait, there's more. So he told me to flip it over, and lo and behold, there were boxes that he cut out. It would spell out the words, will you marry me? I was in shock. Well, I said yes. So there it was. There's the proposal story. We did our wedding preparations. We scheduled our wedding to be 9 months after the proposal. And our suppliers were actually friends that we had from church or people who were close to us. And I'm so happy that we had a lot of talented friends. But all the more, I was so happy that everyone was happy for us. Everyone witnessed our relationship throughout the years. The saying goes, it's a blessing to be a blessing. And that's how I felt. People were telling us that we blessed them, but they also blessed us. And now it's our 7th year wedding anniversary. I'll say that marriage is a wonderful thing. Of course, it's something that we won't be able to do by our own might. It definitely needs prayer, mentoring by other people. You need to be surrounded by people who are wiser than you. And you also need to respect each other. Most of all, have Jesus as the center of the relationship. And without His guidance, it would be impossible for us to have this relationship and enjoy it. God is the one who created marriage. He's the one who officiated the first wedding with Adam and Eve. Marriage is a ministry. I'm surprised with how the Lord works things out. I wouldn't have imagined my marriage being like this. The idea of being married is wonderful, but actually being in it, allowing God to be part of our marriage, and not just that, but really have Him glorified in it, marriage becomes an even more precious thing. If you're single right now, I just want to say, enjoy your singleness. In this stage where you are now, there are things that you can focus on, like your relationship with your friends, your family, you and God. Those are the things that you prioritize. So enjoy that singleness. The next piece of advice I would give is that when you think about being in a relationship, have marriage as the end goal. We don't want to just have something that's temporary. You'll use your emotions and your money on someone that you'll not end up being with in the future. Why waste time? Why waste your resources? I'm not saying that if you've had past relationships before, you wasted all your time. I'm sure that you learned something from that. But what I'm saying is that whenever you do pursue a relationship, may marriage be the end goal. And lastly, have Jesus in the center of your life. When you're focusing on your relationship with Jesus, you're molded by Him. You spend time with Him. You want to be changed by His wisdom. You want to be changed by the things you're learning from the Bible. Let yourself be molded by God so that when the time comes that He'll finally reveal that person He wants you to be with for the rest of your life, then you'll be ready. In closing, I just want to say the Lord has a perfect plan for you. So just wait on Him and He will reveal His plans for you in the perfect time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned something from it, then smash that like button. If you wanted to share something, then put them on the comment section below. Also, if you want more content like this, then feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell. For now, let me just leave you with this. True love waits. God bless you.